Wouldn't it be nice if every time something needed to be said or accomplished at work went smoothly and uninterrupted, without any confusion, drama, negative feedback? It just effective communication from a speaker to the recipient. Task would be completed all day long. There would never be any issues, and it sounds too good to be true. You might be asking yourself, well, yeah, wouldn't that be nice? I just described a work utopia. If I showed you the way of understanding communication on a structural level, maybe if everybody looked at this model, we would have fewer hiccups. It would be easier for everyone to understand where we're coming from. If you take all the components or dissect the situation and realize there's a lot of variables that go into it, then maybe there'd be fewer cases of misconceptions between coworkers, management, or even customers in any cases. My name's Bekkah Aguilar, and I'm a student at San Jacinto College. I'm currently studying business and professional speech, and today I'm going to be showing you that structure. That structure is called the communication process model. This one's my version of it. By understanding this model, you can possibly bridge the gaps to avoid situations that might be reoccurring at work, or at least point out the elements that go into these everyday situations. The communication process model, or the CPM for short, is composed of about 7 elements. So you're going to have your source, you're going to have a channel, your message, the receiver, and then eventually it's going to go back around another channel, feedback, and hopefully if it goes uninterrupted, it gets back to the source, and then you'd have a never-ending loop of communication. So for a simple example, we'll say the source or our speaker wants to say, "Hello, how are you doing today?" Verbally, the channel is sending that message, "Hello, how are you doing today?" to the receiver. If nothing interrupts that flow, the receiver will hear it, decode it, the channel will go back, and their feedback would be, "Fine, and you?" And hopefully it would just be a never-ending loop of communication. So let's say if something were to interrupt this channel, right? Say there was interference. That's our other element. Interference blocks any of these channels, right? Something as simple as you getting a phone call or a dog barking outside, or you're hungry. So then something is distracting that channel from receiving from or getting from one end to the other. So there's interference. Something as simple as like a greeting. I guess an example of this would be, that was just an everyday case, right? What if it was your manager, right? The source was your manager, and they were telling you that you have a project that you need to look at and it's due today. You're the receiver. And something blocks the way. Maybe the message doesn't get to you, or there's a technical error if they emailed it to you. Somehow the message from the source didn't get to you, and there was interference, so you couldn't send feedback. Then that could cause miscommunication or misunderstanding in the work field. And unfortunately, something like that happens a lot. I think another example would be, you don't always have to be so verbal with your responses. Something as simple as like body language could be feedback for the source. So if someone that you didn't like at work said, "Hey, how are you doing today?" and you roll your eyes, they get that feedback pretty quickly. So that message is received. And that could also cause, miscommunication or misunderstanding. And I think something that would change, this setting could happen anywhere, right? It could happen at work, it could happen at school. So that would be a big thing, would be context. So you could take any situation, and as long as you have this model, right, you can change the context of anything you're saying. That would be time or place, situation, right? This could happen anywhere. Just you at home talking to your significant other or a family member. I'm sure there's been miscommunication there at school, maybe miscommunication with your professor or a fellow student, like if you were in a group project, and maybe at work here in our little bakery, maybe at work there was miscommunication between you and a customer or management. And I think context could be anything from physical, psychological, cultural, relational, social. Just because there's interference or noise, it doesn't always have to be so literal, such as a phone call or, you being hungry. It could be something in your own head, like if someone's talking to you and you're thinking about what you're having for dinner later, obviously that message is not going to get received. So context would be when, where, who, details that could possibly change anything that would stop this model, right? Anything that would stop this loop would cause it. And I think good communication is stimulating as black coffee, just as hard to sleep after. And Maro Lindbergh said that, and I agree. I think accomplishing things off your task list is satisfying and can be motivating for you and your team. And this can only be done if information is quickly moved and uninterrupted by any outside force or interference or noise. And I'm not really 100% confident I understand the full concept of this model, right? I'm still learning about it, but I think it's fascinating, right? Because it can be used in any context or in any situation. But I'm excited to learn more about it as we go on throughout the semester. So thank you for watching, and I hope y'all have a good day.